Hey guys, my name is Laura Anderson and I'll be discussing the mind map strategies on pages 44 through 47 of our textbook. The materials that we need for this activity is that you're going to first pass out a blank sheet of paper to all students in your classroom. And then you're going to pass out your art supplies. Now the art supplies varies from teachers and classes, but my class we typically use markers and crayons. But you may also use highlighters, pens, pencils, color pencils, whatever is your norm, that's what you're going to use. In addition, you're also going to pass out poster paper to groups later on in the activity. For the activation, you're going to share a prompt with your class and allow students to individually brainstorm about the prompt. And that's going to be about 1 to 2 minutes. On their blank sheet of paper, they're going to write the prompt in the middle, and then they're going to write or draw anything that they know about the topic. During this time, it is very important that you encourage students that there are no right or wrong answers. And by allowing students to draw and write, you are using linguistics and non-linguistics so that students at all levels of language proficiency are able to participate in this activity. After the 1 or 2 minutes have gone by, you're going to break students up into groups. While working with their groups, each student is going to share their mind map of what they know about the topic. By allowing students to share, you're allowing students to have different insight and different perspectives of the same topic. Then, as a group, they're going to begin working on their poster paper. Now, they're going to write the prompt again in the middle of their poster paper, and then each group member is going to add something to their paper or to their poster. So they could write or draw. I did this activity with my nieces last night. They're not with me today because they're in Vacation Bible School. But I went over to my sister's house, and then they had to answer the prompt, why is soil so important to our environment? So this is my older niece. She is quite the artist. She drew a garden, and she drew a tree with roots, so flowers and roots, and then carrots with roots. While sharing with her sister, she said the main point of this is that plants' roots grow in soil. My younger niece, she wrote that plants need a place to live, so they grow in soil. And then she drew a flower growing in soil. Then she drew some worms and put worms live in soil. And then she drew a tree and wrote that we walk on soil. During their discussion, I was monitoring and listening to what they were saying, and my younger niece said that worms live in soil, but then my older niece said, well, not just worms, but all kinds of bugs. So, together in their group mind map, they wrote on their poster paper. Now, so when they're working with their prior knowledge, it's going to be in one color. So for them, blue represents their prior knowledge. So they wrote the prompt and then they both added to the paper. My younger niece put that plants and trees live there, and then they drew the flowers and the roots. And then my older niece wrote, it is home to most of our bugs. They were going to put worms, but then they said, wait, some insects live there, so they were going to write insects, and then they said, well, worms don't have 6 legs, so they changed it from bugs to insects back to bugs. So it was very interesting just to listen to them talk about what they're going to add to their mind map. Then, after that is our connection. So then I began to read the book Soil by Grace Hanson, and I would periodically stop and allow my nieces to discuss the new content. If I was in my class, I would have my class do the same thing, where they would, in their groups, discuss and add to their mind map. So, their prior knowledge was in blue, but their new knowledge is in green. And they're making connections between their prior knowledge and their new knowledge. My younger niece added that soil gives our plants a source of nutrients. And then she drew an arrow because she was connecting the two. My older niece, said that insects and bugs add nutrients back into the soil by helping to create topsoil. We read about a bug dying and then breaking down, and when the body breaks down, gives back to the environment and the nutrients goes back into the soil. So then she drew a bug dying in some soil. But she also made connections and arrows to the new knowledge and to her prior knowledge. But notice how they're both working on the same map. In my class, I would have more than 2 students working on it together, so this thing would be full of connections. During this time, as students are making connections, the teacher is walking around monitoring and listening to the student connections while they're connecting their prior and their new knowledge. And then for the affirmation, so once everybody is done adding to their group mind map, I would display all my maps on the wall, and the class would take a gallery walk as they look for the similarities and the differences between all of the mind maps. And as we're doing our gallery walk, students are sharing with their group and with their class some of the things that they noticed. What did this group put on their mind map that we didn't? Or maybe we added something and they forgot. They're looking for connections with all of the mind maps. This also allows students the opportunity to check to see if their prior knowledge connects or disconnects with the new knowledge after reading the text. After the gallery walk, I would have all students go back to their seats, and I would encourage them to take the information from our story maps and transfer them into writing. However, I do need to share that a lot of students will be able to just take the information and quickly transfer it, but a lot of students will also need additional support and additional modeling. And then once the students are done, they're going to turn and share their final product with their partner. One thing that I really liked about this strategy is that it is a low-risk environment because they're working with their class majority of the time. Yes, there are times that I'm going to be interacting with the class, but the students, ELL students, or students who may be uncomfortable with sharing with the teacher are able to share with their peers and practice the vocabulary and practice the new knowledge throughout the activity. But thank you so much for watching. And again, this information is on pages 44 through 47 if you're interested. Thank you. Bye-bye.